Alright guys, so welcome to my new build. This is a 2011 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT, okay? It is a crew cab, it's a 5.3, obviously, and it's a 4x4, okay? So, you guys know I'm a sucker for these trucks. You guys know I like the earlier models because there is no stability or traction control. This one has it, so maybe that's one of the issues that we have. But nonetheless, you know, I got this truck because I got a great deal. I got it for under 7K, which is pretty awesome. As you guys know, I ended up having to sell my house, so right now I'm parked in another driveway, currently renting this old 1800s farmhouse in Pennsylvania, which is pretty cool. And I had the option to buy it. So we're probably gonna buy this home. I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers, I am praying that we're gonna be blessed with this home so that we can do some modifications and some renovations to this home and take you guys along that journey. But today, we're not talking about that. We are talking about this truck, okay? And with this truck, reasons I went for it were the price and the mileage, right? So I just made a video about like what huge trucks to buy, you know, under 20K, under 100,000 miles. Guys, this was under 7K. And it was under 140,000 miles. So I think I'm like 135,000 miles right now. I've only had this truck for a few weeks, but so far so good. We did run into some issues as to why the price was lower, but nothing that we can't handle. You know, if you're a Chevy guy or a Chevy girl, you guys can handle this. So one of the things was we had an oil pressure issue. It was still running, but we had an oil pressure check engine light coming on, and I wasn't getting above like 20 pounds. Even on like full throttle, I was maybe getting like 25 pounds. Like, it wasn't where it should have been. So I knew that we're gonna be running some issues because we don't have enough oil pressure. So I had to figure that out. Also, stability on these trucks, if you have a GMC, or if you got like a Chevy, if you have a Traverse, or if you have a Terrain, or I guess if you got you know, Denali or whatever you got, if you have a stability track, they are known to be faulty at times. Now, our issue, I think, with stability track is that on these models, if you have a mass airflow sensor issue, if you have an ABS issue, if you have low tire pressure, if you switch your tires, you know, any of these like issues can throw the stability track for a loop. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. But you know what? Nothing that we can't tackle. So I did notice that there's an aftermarket switch near my pedals. I believe that's so somebody can turn on and off the traction control if somebody wants to have a good time. The way that they do that is under the hood, there's a 25 amp fuse, and what you have to do then is tap into those lines underneath the fuse box to make that toggle so that you can turn it on and off. I'm not for that. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to get rid of that because I think that I want to actually have the truck functioning as stock as much as I can. And if I want to switch this thing at all, there is a traction control button on the dash, and I would do something with that button in particular. Either a delete for traction control or whatever I got to do. But I wanted to get back to stock, basically. So I made a list of things here that we need to talk about, as far as like what I like about this truck, what I don't like about this truck. So we're gonna jump into that first, okay? So when I first bought this truck, we had an oil pressure issue. So the code that we're getting is the P0521 code. So it's for oil pressure sensor switch. The issue is that switch is located like near the firewall, like in the middle of the engine, and there's like a shroud or something covering that, so it's like really tough to get to. You can't see it, so you have to go in there with like a crazy swivel, and you have to get your arm in behind there. And me having like a little bit bigger arms, right, it was tough for me to do that. I got the job done, put the new switch in, everything wired up correctly, check engine light off, soon enough turns right back on, because I was still getting oil pressure that was below normal. And I took it to my buddy's Nate's garage, right, and it was giving us good feedback in the line, and it was giving us good feedback from the sensor. So I know like the sensor's good, the filter I put in there is good, just couldn't figure out what the issue was. So I was like, you know what, before I drop this oil pan and just go through the whole oil pan, see what's going on with this pressure, or go into like the oil pump, let's just do an oil change, right? Something super basic like that, right? So I go ahead and I do the oil change, and sure enough, the O-ring that they had on the bolt does not look like the O-ring that you need for the oil pan. and it had a little tear in it. So got myself a new bolt with a new O-ring, did the oil change. I went with a little heavier weight. I went with a 1040 weight instead of a 530 weight just for this time around, just to like see if I can get the pressure up, and sure enough, pressure's good. I've been running like 40 pounds. At idle, I've been going to like maybe 30 pounds when the engine's really hot, when the oil's really warm. But that's like where I want to be at, around 30 pounds. You know what I mean? And then on the high end, I've only been up to like maybe 50 pounds. So am I going to drop back down to a lower weight, like back to 530? Yeah, eventually. I think next oil change to 3,000 miles, I'll do like 1030 weight. And then I'll go back to the 530 weight. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just talking about the viscosities of the oil. If you run a thicker viscosity, obviously, you're going to have more pressure buildup in the engine. So that's not really what you want. You don't want to have crazy pressure going through the engine. But for right now, to just like get rid of like corrosion, not corrosion, but get rid of like junk and gunk in the engine, I think this is going to help out. Also put an additive in because this engine has 135,000 miles on it. So some might think that's high, but for these trucks, we all know that these engines, the reason why I love these engines so much is that I know this can go to definitely 200,000 miles. And if that's me beating the crap out of it. It can go to 300,000 miles. We see them all the time. Those trucks are running on the road. We have no idea how they're running because they look like Swiss cheese coming down the road because there's so many rust holes in them. Right? But I take care of my stuff. When I do these projects, when I modify these trucks, I look for safety, reliability, buildability, and luxury, man, because I want it to be nice. Like, I'm not about to build some like hoopty, you know what I'm saying? I want all the cars and trucks that I build to be nice, right? And so do you, right? So that's what I'm saying. But now let's go down this list. So we talked about stability track. We talked about how there was a toggle. I need to get rid of that toggle. One of the things I don't like about this truck is that it has a Viper alarm system. So right here, right? And what I don't like, it's cheap. Like SST, Viper, these systems are expensive. But look at this. It's still cheap to me. And the sounds that it makes, the Viper sounds, like, I don't know. It's just not for me. You know, I'm in my later 30s, okay? I'm not in my 20s or whatever. Maybe if I was like in my 20s, it might sound cool or whatever to get that little beep beep, whatever. But like, you know, for me, I'd rather have it be stock. So I'm probably gonna rip this whole Viper alarm system out and then take it to Chevy and spend the 500 grand or whatever to, you know, have them give me a stock button and just program the button. Hopefully it's not that expensive. But yeah, so we got to do that. Also, the interior of this truck is in like pristine condition. That's one of the things I looked for. The back seats were like basically never sat in. They're like perfect. They still smelled new. The only issue is like with this passenger seat, there's one cigarette burn hole or whatever the burn hole's from on the seat, and it's really it's very, very small. You know, it's very, very small. So it's not a big deal. There's no tears in the center dash here. I mean, there's no tears in this jump seat. There's no tears in my driver's seat. Everything is like in great condition. The dash is in phenomenal condition. Steering wheel's in great condition. And yeah, so like as far as those aspects of the truck, we're looking like really pretty here. And that's one of the things I look for. Like, I want it to look nice. If it didn't look nice, I'd probably go to somewhere and get seats and replace these seats. So one of the other things that's not working is the passenger speaker behind me. That's not working. It's not giving me like it's like a speaker that's going out or anything like that. It's sounding like a blown speaker. I think that the wiring in the head unit, this is an aftermarket head unit. I think the aftermarket head unit wiring is probably messed up, or the wires for some reason got disconnected back there. I have no idea why. But I'm going to have to take this door panel off maybe tonight because it's an easy job, and we'll check those wires. Otherwise, I think this head unit's going to come out because whoever did this head unit job, it looks nice, but judging by them doing the toggle and that not looking that good, they spliced in this light bar when I bought the truck to the fog lights, which, why would you do that? You're eliminating the use of your fog lights then, because on a really foggy day, you throw these lights on, you're not going to be able to see jack. So I don't know why they did that, but I'm going to have to swap that out. The reverse lights aren't working, so they wired in some aftermarket lights. I'm going to have to take all the aftermarket light wiring out and rewire the taillights the way they're supposed to do it. And you guys seen in my previous videos that I know exactly how to do that. So we're not going to have an issue there. That's just going to be an afternoon when I don't have my kids, and I'll take you guys along the ride for that. And last but not least, the issue with the truck that made our price low, right, is so everything before that, like, I can take care of. Head unit, no problem. Oil pressure sensor, oil issues, whatever. Even if I switch out a pump, which I don't ever want to have to do, but I could do it, we can take care of it. StabiliTrak, I can rip out the whole StabiliTrak system. We can just rewire everything if we had to, wire by wire, right to the fuse box, right to where it needed to go, make new plugs, whatever we got to do, we can do that. But the only thing I cannot do, which I have to make an appointment for, is I found that the frame was painted over and they did some corrections to the frame. Doesn't mean the frame's not safe. Most of the frame is there. There was, I assumed, like some rust holes, and they tried to patch them up, but whoever patched them up didn't do a good job. So I'm going to take it to a frame guy who's going to cut all of that out, and he's going to go ahead and weld up some new plates, make it look nice, paint the frame over so we don't have any frame issues for the remainder of the life of this truck. And yeah, and I'm just going to keep up on it, keep painting the frame. If I see anything, knock it down, grind it out, paint it, and that'll make sure and ensure that the frame is always in great condition for the life of the vehicle. And yeah, so I'm just, you know, pretty pleased with everything. I'm pretty pleased with the purchase. So let's run into like some of the pros I like about this truck, buying this truck, right? So as we said, one of the pros is I got it under 7,000, under 140,000 miles. I had a bunch of issues. So whoever had this truck, you know, as it was passed down, didn't know how to fix these issues, and I did. So I went ahead and I fixed them, like within weeks of having the truck. One of the things I did like about this truck is that it was already lifted. So that saves my back. I already had some tires on it, you know, had this light bar on it. So, you know, we had to go in there, we had to tweak the lift kit a little bit. We do have a little bit of tow issues in the back, so I'm going to take it to a lineman shop. Someone who does like trucks, lifted trucks and all that stuff. But all in all, that's looking pretty good. You know, the headlights were completely damaged. Yellow, they look like yellow teeth to me. Whenever I see that in the road, I think it's gross. So when I swapped them out and I put brand new headlights in with some black housings. So I think they actually look pretty good. Tires obviously are in, you know, decent shape. They have some decent tread on them, and it has a Flowmaster exhaust. So I mean, you can't really beat that. I mean, I like the Super 10s, but you know, I think that Flowmaster exhaust they have on there is like actually pretty good sounding. So you know, overall, like pretty happy with that. So anytime I can save my back, I'm gonna save my back. Besides the headlights, swapping them out, doing that, the other thing that I added right away were some step bars. I wanted to get some step bars basically for my kids, right? Because like they need to be able to get in and out of the vehicle and they're little. The other thing too, I was like, I was talking to this lady, I'll say that, and she said back in the day that she had trouble getting into a lifted truck and she needed like a boost, so she didn't already bought this truck. But when I heard that, I went ahead and I made sure I got myself some step bars with, you know, basically like with basically like a 4-inch drop, because it's like a 1-inch drop bracket and that's a 3-inch drop on the step. So I got some like 4-inch drop, you know, running boards, so my kids can get in, and then in the event that that situation turned into a great situation, she would be able to get into the truck. So yeah, not to leave it on a sad note, let's just keep on going down the list here. All right, so overall, I'm pretty happy with this purchase. Okay, there's a few things I got to do. I got to rewire even these like tail lights back here. They, you know, because I said like they did some weird stuff. The head unit, probably gonna need to rewire the head unit. This head unit's kind of, you know, dated. So probably gonna do what I did with the last truck, pull this whole entertainment system out, put it in a new entertainment system, something that I can do YouTube videos with for my kids. And if I decide to get a monitor for up top, like a big screen, like maybe like a 19-inch flip down screen or whatever for my kids, so they can watch a movie on a big screen when I go to the beach with them or whatever, you know, we decide to do, I can definitely do that. So with that, guys, there's a lot of, you know, things that I want to show you guys, you know, that I do with this truck. There's a lot more videos coming with this truck. If you guys are interested in a truck like this, share it with somebody. You know, if you guys know a guy who's like really after these types of trucks, share with him, or her for that matter, because like 10% of my viewers are women, which is pretty awesome. I'm not even that good looking. Okay, maybe I'm like decent looking, all right, whatever. But yeah, so share with someone who might like this video. Okay, so this is my new truck. This is the new build we're going to be working on. You know, there's a few things left to kind of do to make this thing like perfect. and pass inspections in the state of Pennsylvania, because you guys know how much that's a pain in the butt. The last truck had to do a lot with that to get that to pass. So this truck, basically it's me rewiring some stuff, doing my little customizations to it, taking it to a frame shop, making sure the frame is good, and then hopefully have a nice 5.3 LS Z71 going down the road for a long time. So future plans, are we gonna get rid of this truck? I don't know. Are we gonna sell this truck? Probably not. I'm either gonna pass it down or we're gonna give it away if we can get to 1,000 subscribers. Okay, no, I'm not gonna give this truck away if we get to 1,000 subscribers. Maybe if we got to like 100,000 subscribers, then I'd probably give this truck away. But guys, that's beyond the point here. All right, we're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get there, okay? Let's get there so I can keep making these videos and keep doing some fun stuff with you guys. So with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe, and so we can make some more content. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Let me know what I should do with this truck, because I got some plans for this truck, but I want to know what you guys think I should do with this truck. So anywho, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.